Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So today, I thought I'm going to talk about a pertinent topic which is very personal to me. So it's to do with values and principles, and I feel, especially in today's context, values and principles, identifying your values based on good principles, and having strong values based on those principles will give you a sound and a content life. This is something I personally advocate and I believe very strongly. First off, what are values? Values can differ from person to person. Each of us, based on our background, based on the life we have had, based on our past experiences, based on our belief systems, the values can change. So each of us can have different values. Example, if I come from a family who, in terms of belief systems, in terms of family time, we were very much used to being always together as a family. We eat together and we have created that sort of a practice throughout in our lives. Then I would value family time and being family, being together with family, together with everyone. That I would value a lot. So that will be a value which become one of my personal values. But rather, for a person who has not had that experience in their life, where they have, even from a younger age, maybe they lost their parents, maybe they were orphaned, and then they fended for themselves and then developed their life. In that sense, in terms of family time per se, and together to handle with family and to have that interdependency, sometimes that might not be a core value. So values are things which can be very personal to each person, and I would say values and beliefs are more intermingled than values and principles. And values are absolutely critical in our life to have good values, strong values, ethical values. And when you have good, strong, ethical values in your life, you do not go wrong. No matter what, hard times are going to be there for everybody. We all are going through some tough times now. But when you have strong values and when you have a strong value system, when your values are deep rooted, then you do not go wrong and you have contentment in your life. So for this to happen, this is what I'm dwelling into now. You need to have strong principles, and if your values can be based on your principles and it roots off or it sprouts out from your principles, then you will have extremely strong values and a value system which gives you that beautiful balance in your life. Right, to understand this, let's now talk about what principles are. For me, a beautiful book which I always talk about, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. This is written by the late Dr. Stephen R. Covey. It's an amazing book and I recommend it to all of you to go in to use this book. It was written 2 decades back or more than that. But even today, it helps millions of people. It is my go-to book for me to refer in terms of life and in terms of effectiveness in my life. It is a book I always refer to. So, Dr. Stephen R. Covey, Dr. Covey talks about principles in the form of it being natural laws, and I think this is very apt and it's a perfect example. Principles are based on natural laws which are set in this world. To give you a quick example, take gravity, right? When you pick up something, when you drop it, it falls, and that's a natural law. If I'm to go up to edge of a cliff and I'm to jump, I'm going to fall, and that's a natural law. So in that sense, principles also have been built on natural laws. They transcend practices, they transcend religion, they transcend time, basically. These are timeless and it has been there, it's interbound in humanity, in the world. All of our faiths, if you really go, I'm not talking about in terms of going into any specific religion, but if you go into any religion which practices or preaches good behavior, integrity, honesty, all of these talk about these deep-rooted principles. So keeping that aside for now, this is in general. principles are all built through natural laws. So let's see a few examples. So in terms of some key principles, fairness is a principle which is a natural principle. Being fair in any circumstance, in anything in your life, being fair. So that's one principle which you can look at. Another one, honesty and integrity. That is a principle. Being honest, no matter what the situation. Honesty, that is another principle which actually sets in. Another principle, effort and result. To have any result, you need to put an effort. Without an effort, there is no result. That's another principle. Let's look at another example as a principle. We can look at life, how life moves. Life moves in just one direction. It doesn't move to the past. It doesn't leapfrog into the future. Life is in the present and it will move in the present. So that's another principle. We'll link that up later on with the values. And then another thing, time. Time doesn't stand for anyone, for any man, for any creature. Time will keep on moving. That's another principle. Time does not stop. Time keeps on moving. So how do we link this up? Let's take a quick example in terms of a value and a principle. So a value, I have a value in terms of even a gang of thieves can have a good set of values. For example, say a gang of thieves would say, I'm there for you, one for all for one. No matter what, we are not going to let you down. We are going to be together, and we never go against any of the gang. No matter what you guys do, we are going to be truthful to each other. Now that can be a strong gang mentality. That's called a gang mentality, and which a value within that gang. So they value each other. Okay, so the strong value is not to let the gang down. Right. Now let's take the principle of fairness or even honesty and integrity. Now when that principle, this value, if it's not based on this, right? This value is based on just the gang and their practice and their belief in that gang. So whenever they have done something really wrong, they have gone and hurt somebody or robbed a house, and now they've got caught, one of them, and now they need to give information in terms of to capture the risk. The cops or the police are now inquiring in terms of, okay, what did you do? You did something wrong. We need to capture the others and we need to acquire whatever they have stolen. Tell us. But they are not going to do that. Why? Because they have a value. Protect our gang no matter what. So that is not based on that principle of honesty, fairness. And when it's not based on that, that value is a negative value. That value is destructive. That value will eventually drag you down in your life and destroy you. However, let's quickly reverse back and then take this example. Imagine the set of values which you have been deep-rooted through fairness, through the principle of fairness. And if it comes out through the principle of fairness and honesty and integrity, take the same example. There is one person in the gang who has this mentality. It's based on these particular principles. When he's put into this situation, because his principle is based on fairness, or honesty, integrity, he will not be able to stick to that value and say, okay, I need to be honest to the gang right now. No, because my value system of being truthful, or my value system is based on the principle of fairness and honesty and integrity. So because of that, I, no matter, even if I'm letting my gang down, or even a family, this can even happen within a family. Even if my family member is my family member, but he has done something wrong to someone else, and because of that, even though I love my family member, I need to be fair, and because of that, I need to correct them. And because of that, I need to go and tell the authorities the truth. This is based on a strong principle. So your value is based on a strong principle, and this is what we need in our life now, and this is something which I believe has really eroded even in business. Today, even a couple of days back, we have been seeing a lot of messages going out with this whole calamity. There are a lot of online companies which are now sprouting out and trying to help people, which is awesome. But also within that whole rung of things, we have also seen so many people trying to shortchange people in terms of overpricing, in terms of I would say even in terms of trying to make the most out of the situation to profit. And there has been, these are big, large companies also. So this can happen from an individual to a large corporate and a large company. So it is extremely important we take a step back and we understand what are our values, what do I really value, and then you take those particular values which you have in your life and then you check, is it in harmony with these universal principles? And if it is not, it is time that we really looked at our values and we really looked at our value systems in our life, and then we harmonize it with timeless principles, so that when you do that and when you deep root your values with these principles, then you will have that contentment and you will have that balance in your life, and you can maintain that balance. And this is universal. When your values come from proper principles, then you will not go wrong. You will have contentment in your life. Let me finish this off with an example or with a parable, or with, let me give you a kind of a story to link this up. Just imagine in your mind's eye, imagine this amazing, massive, huge tree, right? It's a massive, massive tree. It's a huge trunk and it has gone up maybe 50, 60 feet, and it's like a giant standing there, right? Imagine this now. Now, imagine that you can transparently see this tree and its roots, and you can see through. And when you look at it, you can see the roots of this tree. Just imagine how deep would these roots be. These roots would have traveled down several meters, much more, and would be hugging the ground, and it would be so strong. Now, imagine there is a massive flood which is coming through now, a huge flood, and now it's washing through this tree, this whole area. Will this tree uproot? Just imagine, just think for yourself. Would this tree uproot? It will not, because it's so strong and it is deep rooted. But then just imagine there was some grass and small trees around there. Will they be uprooted? Yes, it will. It would be uprooted. So taking this story, this tree with the deep roots are your principle-based values. When your values are based on sound, good principles, it is like this tree, and it is deep rooted like this tree. No matter what, the flood is a challenge in life. The flood is greed. The flood is economic benefit when there are tough times. The flood is difficulty in families, in problems which occurs in your life. Problems are going to hit all of us, from the richest to the poor. The flood is all issues which will go through life. No matter what the problem, if your values are deep rooted like this tree, based on good principles, principle based values, you will never uproot, no matter what the flood. And the flood will never ever continue. A flood will come in, it will be there for a period, and then it will reside. Just like all problems, you will be tested, you will have problems, but it will go away. You need to be patient, and when you have those principles, centered values, you will not go wrong. And then you will come out even stronger, and you will have contentment in your life. The grass level and the small trees are like the values which we have, not deep rooted in good principles. They are going to get washed away, lift you up, you're going to go somewhere else, and then you're going to get planted again. So your value system is very weak, and that's how people from place to place, they have weaker values, and that's going to get just washed off, and it's not based on correct principles, and you will not have contentment and satisfaction in your life. This is a general message I wanted to keep out, and I'm not dwelling into any particular faith as such. There are ample examples, even through the life of the Prophet, there are ample examples in terms of how people were dealt with with good principles and proper values, where there was cases which were judged by the caliphates, where between Muslims and non-Muslim, there were certain cases which are documented examples, but the ruling was given based on proper principles, where it was noted that the Muslims had done something wrong and they were guilty and they were in the wrongdoing, and because of that they were given the correct punishment, and the non-Muslims were given what they deserve in terms of the correct ruling. And these were all why? It is based on proper principles. The values are based on good, strong principles. And this, I think, transcends into all faiths. So, my message is, as we live our lives and things are getting so much faster now, and we are able to, with technology and things are improving so much, let's not forget, have your values based on very sound, strong, universal principles. And when you build it upon those proper good principles, like I said before, fairness, integrity, honesty, effort and result, and so on. When you base it on sound principles, you will not fail in your life. Effort and result. Anything which you want to achieve, you need to first understand that you need to put an effort, then you will get the result. Base your core values based on that when you set up values to achieve certain things. Another principle we can talk about is giving. And when you base your value systems on this, in terms of helping others, and in terms of having a giving heart, and having, in terms of values of no matter if I get 10, I will give 2 out of that to somebody else. And when you have that, just imagine, guys, if we have that particular value system, imagine all of us build that particular value system, there won't be poverty in this world. Where we can, if from what we get, if we get 10, we are giving out 2. And if we do that, and everybody does that, and that goes in from the corporate level to the individual, how can there be poverty in this world? So that's on a bigger scale of things. But where do we start? We start with a small step. We start at our home. We start with ourselves, and we take one step forward. So I close off by saying, all the very best to you. These are tough times we are going through. Let's get through it, and we will get through it as humanity, because we are very strong and we are very resilient. And when we build our lives, base your core values on timeless principles and strong principles. So have principle-centered values so that you will have contentment and satisfaction in your life. I wish you all the very best, and I urge you to relook at all your value systems and base it on sound principles. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.